This is the thumb rest takedown lever by Align Tactical. It provides a ledge for the support hand thumb, serving as an index point for grip consistency and reducing muzzle lift to keep sights on target. Compatible with Smith Wesson's M&P 2.0 series. To install, eject the magazine. Lock the slide back and ensure the chamber is empty. Rotate the takedown lever and release the slide catch. In a safe direction, while holding the slide, pull the trigger to release the striker. Ensure you have protective eyewear, a small punch, and an armorer's block to provide clearance for pin removal. First, we'll be removing the trigger pin. It can only be removed in one direction, and be sure the takedown lever remains clear of the pin at all times. Using a punch, hammer out the trigger pin. Next, remove the locking block pin. To remove the locking block, use a large screwdriver and slightly rotate it between the rail and frame to pry it up. Metal frame versions have an added polymer insert that acts as a sleeve to retain the lever. Locate the rearmost of the two ribs. Rotate to pry, otherwise they will both come out together and have to be reinserted. Now you're ready to install the Align Tactical thumb rest takedown lever. It comes with an enhanced trigger pin on the back of the package, so be careful when opening as to not lose it. The takedown lever is made from hardened S7 tool steel. Notice the rib on the cylinder. This is unique to the 2.0 series and will not fit in the 1.0, which have a groove instead. Our trigger pin adds a peg that serves as an anti-rotation stop for added security. Swap the takedown lever with the Align Tactical thumb rest takedown lever. The rib sits inside a recess of the locking block and is sandwiched between the block and frame when installed. Now to put everything together. Ensure the trigger is in the proper position to receive the new trigger pin. The trigger return spring has a loop on the end that the trigger pin inserts into. The slide stop spring is marked in red, and the trigger pin must clear this too for everything to line up. If your trigger return spring fell backwards, don't force it. It needs to flip a little sideways, so use finesse to move it. If your trigger bar fell completely out of the frame along with the slide catch lever, then watch to the end of the video for additional assistance. Slide the locking block back into place. We'll need everything to line up for the trigger pin to insert. Use a small punch to dig up the loop of the trigger return spring and retain it in place. Push the trigger pin only partially in. We want to ensure the red slide stop catch spring rides over the trigger pin. Use the punch to lift it up while partially inserting the trigger pin. If needed, back the pin out and try again. Once the first spring clears, we want to do the same for the trigger return spring. Pry and lift it up over the trigger pin. Once the spring is on the trigger pin, push it through. Be sure to go slow and check, as we do not want to pinch or damage the springs. Now you can fully push it in flush. Test the trigger that it returns under spring tension. Finally, install the locking block pin. We'll want it slightly below flush as to act as a stop on the opposite side. Reassemble the pistol by installing the slide and locking it back. Simply pinch and rotate the ledge of the takedown lever and then function test. Your new Align Tactical thumb rest takedown lever is installed and now ready for use. If the trigger bar and slide catch fell out, they can easily be put back in. Flip the trigger return spring sideways and place it back into the notch in the trigger shoe. Drop in the trigger and guide the bar to right along the frame. The tip will rest on the sear housing. Place the slide catch over the trigger assembly and adjust them to allow for a drop and fit. And then you're back to installing the locking block. Follow the steps in the main video to complete installation.